Complete lunar shroud in November 2022, apparent from California to Australia. November presents to us an extraordinary heavenly scene. The moon will take the ruddy hint while the earth passes among it and the sun. The occasion is called all-out lunar obscuration, and here we'll assist you with getting the best perspective on it. When is the lunar shroud this evening? The all-out lunar shroud will happen on November 8th and will be noticeable from the vast majority of the globe. The shroud has three fundamental stages: penumbral, incomplete, and full. What time is the lunar shroud in November 2022? The shroud's most memorable penumbral stage begins at 8:02 GMT on November 8th. This stage isn't apparent to the unaided eye. The halfway stage starts at 9:09 GMT. This is the point at which you can begin noticing. During this stage, the piece of the lunar plate looks obscured in light of the fact that it's getting covered by the world's umbral shadow. The full stage starts at 10:16 GMT. As of now, the moon takes on a rosy hint, totally washed in the world's umbral shadow. For its tone, the completely obscured lunar circle is known as the blood moon. At 11:41 GMT, the full stage closes, and the halfway stage starts once more. The penumbral stage follows at 12:49 GMT. From that point forward, the shroud isn't noticeable to the unaided eye. The lunar shroud closes at 13:56 GMT. When is the lunar shroud busy time? The all-out lunar obscuration starts at 10:16 GMT, arrives at its pinnacle, when the moon is at its nearest to the focal point of the world's shadow, at 10:59 GMT, and goes on until 11:41 GMT. During this period, you get the best perspective on the full blood moon, yet better to begin noticing an hour sooner. How long does the lunar shroud endure? The apparent way of the lunar shroud, incomplete stage, full stage, fractional stage, endures 3 hours and 40 minutes. The absolute lunar shroud endures 1 hour 25 minutes, from 10:16 to 11:41 GMT on November 8th. Lunar obscuration in November 2022, time in the USA, Australia, India, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. The lunar overshadowing occurs at the specific second wherever on the Earth, however the time fluctuates relying upon the time region. Check the timings for your time region to guarantee you don't miss the divine show. What time is the lunar overshadowing in the Eastern Time region?
The Eastern Time region is seen in most eastern conditions of the U.S., Washington, D.C., New York, Ohio, and others, portions of eastern Canada, the vast majority of Ontario, Quebec, and Nunavut, the province of Quintana Roo in Mexico, and portions of northwestern South America. During the shroud, Eastern Standard Time, GMT-5, will be being used. For the Eastern Time region, the incomplete stage starts at 4:09 AM Eastern Standard Time on November 8th. The full stage is reached at 5:16 AM Eastern Standard Time, with the greet. What time is the lunar overshadowing in the Mountain Time region? The Mountain Time region is seen in a few western districts of Canada, Mexico, and the U.S., for instance, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming. During the obscuration, Mountain Standard Time, GMT-7, will be being used. For the Mountain Time region, the halfway stage starts at 2:09 AM Mountain Standard Time. On November 8th, the full stage is reached at 3:16 AM Mountain Standard Time, with the most extreme point at 3:59 AM Mountain Standard Time. The full stage closes at 4:41 AM Mountain Standard Time and is trailed by the incomplete stage until 5:49 AM Mountain Standard Time. What time is the lunar shroud in the Pacific Time region? The Pacific Time region is seen from parts of English Columbia in Canada, the western U.S., California, Washington, and western Mexico. During the shroud, Pacific Standard Time, GMT-8, will be being used. For the Pacific Time region, the halfway stage starts at 1:09 AM Pacific Standard Time on November 8th. The full stage is reached at 2:16 AM Pacific Standard Time, with the greatest point at 2:59 AM Pacific Standard Time. The full stage closes at 3:41 AM Pacific Standard Time and is trailed by the fractional stage until 4:49 AM Pacific Standard Time. What time is the lunar overshadowing in the Gold Country Time region? For the Frozen North Time region, GMT-9, the incomplete stage starts at 0:09 AM Alaska Standard Time on November 8th. The full stage is reached at 1:16 AM Alaska Standard Time, with the most extreme point at 1:59 a.m. Alaska Standard Time. The full stage closes at 2:41 a.m. Alaska Standard Time and is trailed by the fractional stage until 3:49 a.m. Alaska Standard Time. What time is the lunar overshadowing in the Eastern Australia Time Region, AEST? For the Eastern Australia Time Region, GMT+10, the fractional stage starts at 19:09 Australian Eastern Standard Time on November 8. The full stage is reached at 2016 Australian Eastern Standard Time, with the most extreme point at 19:59 Australian Eastern Standard Time. The full stage closes at 2041 Australian Eastern Standard Time and is trailed by the fractional stage until 21:49 Australian Eastern Standard Time. What time is the lunar shroud in New Zealand? For the New Zealand Time Region, GMT+13, the incomplete stage starts at 22:09 New Zealand Daylight Time on November 8. The full stage is reached at 23:16 New Zealand Daylight Time, with the most extreme point at 23:59 New Zealand Daylight Time. The full stage closes at 0:41 New Zealand Daylight Time on November 9 and is trailed by the halfway stage until 1:49 New Zealand Daylight Time on November 9. What time is the lunar obscuration in India? For the Indian Time Region, GMT+5:30, the halfway stage starts at 14:39 IST on November 8. The full stage is reached at 15:46 IST, with the most extreme point at 16:29 IST. The full stage closes at 17:11 IST and is trailed by the incomplete stage until 18:19 IST. November 2022 Lunar Shroud Way. In November 2022, the whole lunar shroud, halfway stage, full stage, fractional stage, will be noticeable from the greater part of North America, New Zealand, numerous islands of the Pacific Sea, the east shore of Australia, the majority of Japan, the eastern locales of Russia, South Korea, East and Upper East China, Norwegian archipelago Svalbard. The entire full period of the lunar overshadowing, all-out lunar obscuration, will be seen from the majority of North America, New Zealand, numerous islands of the Pacific Sea, a large portion of Australia, Japan, the greater part of Siberia, South Korea, a large portion of China, Norwegian archipelago Svalbard. A piece of the full stage can be seen from North America, northwestern South America, New Zealand, islands of the Pacific Sea, Australia, Japan, Siberia, South Korea, China, East India, a piece of northern Norway, and archipelago Svalbard, a piece of northern Finland. Essentially a fractional lunar shroud will be seen from northeastern Europe, Asia, Australia, North America, quite a bit of South America, the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian Sea, the cold, and the Antarctic. Here are a portion of the huge urban communities to notice the entire lunar obscuration in November 2022, Vancouver, English Columbia, Canada, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Seattle, Washington, USA, Oakland, California, USA, Honolulu, Hawaii, USA, Washington, D.C., USA, New York, USA, Chicago, Illinois, USA, Mexico City, Mexico, Melbourne, Australia, Sydney, Australia, Auckland, New Zealand, Wellington, New Zealand, Beijing, China, Seoul, South Korea, Tokyo, Japan, Kolkata, India. Complete lunar overshadowing in November 2022, apparent from California to Australia, according to the astronomical news, and still happen in our world.